I've spent the past couple of weeks getting to know the world's new thinnest foldable phone, so is it any good? This is the Honor Magic V5, and on the face of it, the dimensions are pretty wild. Folded out, it measures just 4.1mm. When it's shut, it's thinner than a Galaxy S23 Ultra at 8.8mm. It's also lighter than a lot of flagship slab phones at 217 grams. That's a gram less than the S25 Ultra. The biggest thing that gets you is a foldable that doesn't feel bulky or unwieldy at all when it's closed up. It really just feels like a regular smartphone. In part, that's down to the materials being used here. The reflective gradient pattern here is polycarb, not glass. And the light weight is even more apparent when it's opened out, feeling incredibly svelte for the display area on offer. The display dimensions haven't changed from the previous Magic V3, but what has changed is the peak brightness level. The inner display now maxes out at the same 5000 nits as the outer panel, a big deal if you're using it out and about in the summer sun. Another really impressive spec point is the battery. Despite its supreme thinness, Honor's packed in a 5820 mAh cell inside this device that's bigger than any other foldable I'm aware of, and an order of magnitude larger than the current Samsung competition, thanks to Honor's use of silicon carbon battery technology. It also charges quicker, 66 watts over a wire or 50 watts wirelessly. Elsewhere, the spec sheet is just as full-featured as you would expect. It runs a Snapdragon 8 Elite, the full 8-core version of that chip, not the cut-down 7-core variant used in some other foldables, with 16GB of RAM and 512 storage. Plenty of power to go around then, and even on very pre-release firmware I found in terms of hand feel, it doesn't get as warm as the Magic V3 does in similar workloads. The elephant in the room, of course, is this big old camera bump around the back. It's noticeable if looking side on, and definitely does raise the phone up a bit if it's laid flat on a table, but isn't particularly bothersome in day-to-day use. The camera bulge is larger this year to accommodate a few upgrades, mainly the telephoto, which is now a 64MP 3x periscope telephoto behind an f2.5 lens. The ultra-wide also gets a welcome bump up to 50MP f2. That's all I can say really at the moment about the camera, given we are running pre-release firmware, but I think the work we've seen in processing and AI features in Honor's Magic 7 Pro does bode pretty well for the V5's imaging performance. Same deal with software and benchmarks, not much we can say here given we're running pre-release software, but one last minute detail that made it into the spec sheet is an IP58 and IP59 rating for ingress protection, meaning it's more dust resistant than competitors while having the same protection against immersion and high pressure water jets. We'll have more to say on the Honor Magic V5 once our unit gets final software and we can finally talk software features, performance and camera quality, but already it looks like Samsung's upcoming Fold 7 has some pretty serious competition here. Let me know what you think down in the comments and stick around for more.